That's Lebo looking startled. Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Tod Collins is a qualified country vet who turned into an award-winning short story author. His latest book, titled CULLEN, took him 40 years to publish. So takes us on a three-part journey of a parcel that travels halfway across the world before it's opened. The book can be described as a piece of literature that is somewhere between a true story and fiction. Tod joins me from our Durban studios. Let's talk about this offering. Tod, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Morning Live. For the benefit of our viewers, can you give us a brief synopsis of your book?
Well, Sam, it's a three-part book, and I had to wrestle with myself and the editor as to which part we put in where. It describes two basic characters, and they might actually be the same person. A fellow who arrives on the South Pacific island of Tonga, obviously running away from his past, and he gets up to all sorts of interesting things there, which in itself could easily be a book. That is the first part, and it's actually the manuscript that was written by a school teacher on Tonga, a manuscript which I managed to get hold of through fair means and foul, and then that is the first part of the book. The third part is Cullen's story. Now, Cullen eventually released his story one evening in Nepal in 2008 when I was there. And this amazing story of an Himalayan expedition that unfortunately went wrong way back in the mid-70s. And this expedition was swept under the carpet by the Alpine Club in England and the Nepalese Mountaineering Federation. There were all sorts of discrepancies and irregularities in this expedition, and it's also a phenomenal story. And this character there was blamed for all the tragedy, and he disappeared. And in the middle section, I tell of several trips I've done to the Himalaya and how the story got revealed one long afternoon and evening in Pokhara in Nepal, and I've eventually traced the various characters in the book. A couple of them have passed away, and I felt it was now ready to release this epic story.
Because you actually lead me into my next question. How much of this book is autobiographical? How much of this book is... because you get a sense that it's loosely, or it is based on your life. Are you going to tell me?
Sam, I'm not going to tell you. I think the readers must
figure it out for themselves.
Yes. Look, it is obviously based on a lot of personal experiences. Maybe the entire book is...
but you got to figure it out for yourself.
I think that makes the book a really thrilling experience to read. And I must say I'm delighted with the number of readers who've contacted me and said they finished the story, poured themselves a cup of tea, and started on page 1 again to pick up all the threads. And I'm delighted at the way it's been received.
This is a 40-year journey, Tod. What made you decide to take that long to write this novel? Was it just life happening, or did you purposefully think, well, you know what, there's so much to tell, let me take my time in putting this together? Sam,
I wasn't always a writer. I've always enjoyed writing, obviously. It's been a release for us who are in the caring, stressful professions. I didn't have the confidence to put it together. And when I'd started writing, and started with short stories, I gained confidence and realized, look, I could write this book, and I felt that the tale needed to be told, had to be told. And I also wanted to release this. It was inside me for a long time, and it just had to be released and
I think there's something,
to the world.
Yeah, there's something else that I find really interesting is that you have such a deep connection with Nepal and the Himalayas and the Sherpas that you've donated a portion of this book to them.
Yes, already a good friend of mine was in Nepal climbing Island Peak a month or two ago, and he took across a nice sizable portion of what the book has so far made. The production costs haven't really been covered yet, but anyhow, I sent a nice lot across to also one of the central figures in Cullen's part of the book, a guy who actually pulled Cullen back from the edge of disaster. And this old Sherpa, Putashi, is still alive, and my friend Simon went across and gave Putashi a nice portion of his due shares of the book, of the story. Because without Putashi,
for sure.
It wouldn't have happened.
Wouldn't have happened. Very, very quickly, Tod, where can people get hold of you to get their copy? Where is it available?
I'm told, as the sales jargon goes, in all good bookstores it should be available. But in my opinion, any store that sells books is a good store. But yeah, or direct from me. I'm distributing a lot myself, but most bookstores around the country have got it, and Top Shelf Books are distributing. There on the screen, I see you've got my email address, and yeah, I do distribute personally.
Fantastic. Tod, thank you very much for joining us from our Durban studios. That's Tod Collins. He's a professional vet and author speaking to us about his latest offering called Cullen, the book that took him 4 decades to publish. Go and get it. It's a very interesting read. We take an ad break.